This should be able to tell me. Oh, longer than that. Ah, well. Alright. Um, so one of the biggest changes is that I have finally given up probably one of my longest standing names I've ever had. Um, I'm not a person that often changes names. Maybe I'll play different characters with different names, but I usually try and stick with a very specific style, but um, the surname Panda has been with me for a very long time. It actually goes back to my high school days when I had some friends and I who were into gaming, and we decided to have a Panda Squad. And basically, it was back in the day of, like, you know, the Call of Duty clan tags and all that shit, and we were um, the Pandas, basically. And I picked up the name Panda from that, so all the way back to high school, so 2016 is when I graduated, so it'd have to be, uh, 2013? Maybe before then, even? Let's see. It could have even been before then. But, I guess that's about 8 years I've had the name Panda, and I have finally decided to drop it. I don't even know why I held on to it for so long. It was just, a tag that they forced you to have at the beginning of your Steam handle, and, that's just what I decided to use. I held on to Panda, even though Panda Squad never took off or anything like that. Not exactly original or anything, but, I like the name. And, I liked it long enough to hold on to it for 8 long years. So, that's, interesting. Not one to really try and change identities or use alt accounts or just escape. It's not entirely my style or something that I'm really comfortable with doing, since it usually, for me at least, how I see it, if I did go to an alt and then just make that alt my main without good reason, like main account got deleted or anything like that, against my will, it makes me feel like I'm running away from my problems instead of um, implementing a solution to help deal with them. I've met a lot of people on the internet and online and all sorts of things where uh, they'll just make an alt so that they can pretend to be somebody else that didn't cause as many issues as they may have, or to get a new start type of things. And I've never been super comfortable with those sort of things, because you can't exactly make your past not exist. Your past is always a part of you. So, while the name change is kinda changing identity stuff, and some people might view it as running, for me at least, I think it's more of a... I think it's time to move on from this. It'd be a really good idea to move on from this. That's kind of what I'm treating it as. And hopefully there are some people that will pop by, and we'll see how that goes, so I can talk to them. Got a blue status, Friends Plus for a reason, to see how this goes. I'll just kind of be chatting away about things, and we'll see how I feel about the end of this. Either I talk away everything and I can figure it out, or somebody can help me piece together my mind and I can figure it out, or I will end up coming to the decision that, even after talking, I can't do anything else about it. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, so that's where the panda part in the original name came from. Uh, all the way back in high school when I wanted to be a pro gamer. You know, play Black Ops all the time, Modern Warfare 2 all the time, I can slay all the leaderboards, dolphin dived all the time, know every single spot, everything like that. And I thought I was pretty good. Um, yeah. The Dara part of the name, so Panda Dara. Dara had a little bit of a different, sort of coming-uppance. What a time. So probably, maybe even a little bit before high school, when the internet was kind of coming up out of its thing, so 2010s to 2012-ish is, so maybe even early high school for me. I got pretty deep into online communities, and I really enjoyed it. And I did a lot of role-playing on a platform called Facebook. Yeah, I was a Facebook role-player. Man, Facebook is not a good place for roleplay, but there was a lot of really cool people on there, and I wanted to have my own slice of the pie and do my own things on there. And, you know, Facebook, I wanted to see what I could join. And a lot of the things I found, especially at the time, were Homestuck! Yes, I was a Homestucker. Yeah, I did my roleplays with the Homestuck community, and I was a terribly shitty OC of some stupid character. I just kinda ripped off Google Images and then played on my own. If you wanna know, from, I think the original Beyblade series, it was Phoenix, the guy with the mask and the thing, who turned out to end up looking pretty handsome once they finally unmasked him, and his powerful duelist was actually, he became fodder. Yeah, I basically, played my own version of that character, and, I named him Daira. And then you can kind of see how that evolved into Dara after some time when I've been kind of looking at myself. I wasn't satisfied with just playing Daira though, because while he was my super edgy, ultimate powered OC type thing, I didn't really enjoy it much. It was kind of fun sometimes to get in people's shit, or to be that voice of reason that they needed from all their, super squeamish and I'm in super pain type of characters and type things, and help talk them down from their insanity and stuff. I did a lot of that. It wasn't super fulfilling after a point, because I started to just be able to predict where every single character, storyline, everything went, because I've seen it so many times. So, what I did, instead of just making another character, I made another player. I basically created another player who would make their own characters. So, I created a second identity there. So, rather than myself with my OC, Daira, I created a new person that would have their own characters, and the person I decided to name Justice. And they were everything that I wish I ever could have been. This other player that I created was, they're fun, they're loving, they're enjoyable. They kind of had that little shy side, but then they were able to, wipe it off, get going, let their awkwardness get them through any situation. They enjoyed people, they understood people, they could be able to work with them through anything, they changed lives. And, Miss Justice, they, had their own character, which is, I don't even remember the entire specifics anymore because of how totally ingrained it became to the soul to play them, but, basically, they were a person that escaped death, and death was always looming around the corner for them at every single moment, and they had to be able to try and avoid it somehow, and basically, what I mainly did with the character was to put her in several different precarious situations where she, a person that had little control over anything, little power, little fancy tricks, little amazing things, would try her best in this sea of insanity and overpowered abilities and gods to connect with them and make a difference. And I did that for a while until I decided to do one of my really big things with her. So, this character, who's being played by a person that I made up, would finally have death themselves encounter them. And, what I was really hoping for would be the slew of people to come on by and help out, do their best, but even with their absolute best, a life would still end. Because you can't get away from your fate. Not forever, at least. And, it was a long-fought thing. Here's the thing about Facebook roleplaying on multiple, accounts and pages. I was playing 3 characters. I was playing Death, I was playing the character, and I was playing Daira. And, when you do that on Facebook, especially on a phone, I was doing this on my phone, I had to log out, log in, type the post, log out, log in, type the post, log out, log in, type the post. And in Facebook roleplays, there is no fucking sense about whose turn order it is or anything like that. In Facebook roleplays, it's about who can type the fucking fastest and get a reply in to do something. And oh my god, it was a fucking nightmare to manage 3 characters, 2 player characters of completely different personalities. 2 players, not player characters. 2 players of completely different personalities. 3 characters. And everybody thought that whoever was playing Death was a 3rd person. So, it, kinda fucked me up to lead all those different things, and, when the people finally decided to call upon their most overpowered and broken characters, fucking Link the Hero of Time, who had a bow that could annihilate a fucking planet, decided to stop by, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? And all these sort of shits of, what? Who are you people? You don't have connection. Why are you here? Who called you? It was then that I realized that, every other player just wanted to be able to solve the problems too. And that's the power fantasy of roleplay, is that you want to be able to solve the problems. If you can't solve the problem, what point is there? And, so, from there I basically went full ham, I guess, and I finally did it. I managed to kill her. He died there. Didn't come back. But the impact that that character had on me was kind of burned into my soul for a very long time. So much so that I really couldn't let go of her. And Daira and this is me as a player now with my character, Daira. It kind of bled into their character as well. They acted nicer, they changed their ways, they weren't as much of a absolute edgy dickhead anymore, and when I finally realized that Daira and I was extremely uncomfortable with that after such a long time of an experience, I thought I could separate the characters out in my head and that I would be able to play them. But they, the different personalities kind of interfered a lot and made a little bit of more of an amalgamation than I really expected. So, I decided to do one of the really, really generic things, right? So, if you have a character that has a little bit too much going on for them, a little bit too much in their head, they're a little bit contradictory, you're not really sure how to handle it, instead of treating them like a real person and having them process through this and be who they actually are, here's what you do. You take your character. Now this is what a lot of the, like, ancient people did, the Greeks, the Romans, all sorts of mythologies did the exact same thing. You take this, you split them into two. One that has the other side of things, one that has the other side of things. So yeah, I took Daira, I split them into two. Daira, Dara. And of course, because I became so attuned to playing a nice feminine side of things, Dara became like a gender-bent Daira. Except that, there are a few stipulations about them. They were mute. Their magic was not Daira's abilities or anything like that. Basically, the most that they could do is just open up a tiny little rift of void. That was it. They wore a cloak because they didn't like being around other people. They couldn't speak to anybody, and they hoped for nothing more than to make a connection and show the tenderness that I once had. And playing a silent, mute character is very difficult because people don't really like interacting with those sort of things, but I guess I somehow made it work, because eventually people did start liking Dara a bit. We started following her story, but unlike with Justice or Daira, there wasn't a million people watching. Because in a lot of my previous RPs, like, all you have to do is say, any lurkers, or who's seeing this, and things like that, in your OOC thing, and suddenly you get like 20, 30, 50 likes because the community was that tight-knit of keeping up with each other, because that's what you did. That didn't really happen with Dara. But, in Dara, I kinda found a lot of myself. So, while Justice may have been who I've always wanted to be, Dara is who I realized that maybe I really was. I struggled talking with people in real life. I struggled to make a lot of friends. I struggled to communicate with people. It took just one fucking heartbreak for me to shut down for weeks and to realize I don't think I can make friends. That's one of the reasons why I migrated to the internet instead. Because at least there, well, I could have people that said they were my friends. I was always at a degree of distance from them. I could always make sure, she's absolutely sure, to be okay. I'm still far away enough. And seeing the loneliness that Dara had experienced, just, you feel a lot of things. I thought, hey, maybe this time I can be different. Maybe this time I can actually have connections. Maybe this time I can do something for once. So, moving on towards the future a bit. This time, we're still moving on. Facebook RP has died. Homestuck has died. It's all mostly over. Nobody's really doing it anymore. One of my friends, Nepster, is still holding on to it. She's going at it. She's playing a hipster Nepeta. Fucking up. Ooh, excuse me. Awesome. I enjoy it. Time passes. I want to roleplay in games. Games seem more fun. I miss the WoW days. I never played WoW, I never played any MMOs. I wanted to get into a game to roleplay. I miss the Garry's Mod days, I miss the Xbox Live days, I miss so many things of just beautiful RP, beautiful being able to voice act, beautiful being able to pretend to make a girl's voice. I missed all that. So, I needed a game that didn't need me to talk. And then, out comes Starbound. Starbound is released to the world, and I fell in love. I adored the game, because it was probably one of the first times of me experiencing a game that, I felt like I had control over the story that I could tell. At this time, Starbound had been in some betas, it had a little bit of stuff, nothing super crazy, and it didn't have a fucking quest system. It had some scattered pieces of lore, a couple codex entries, and amazing races, and it had some really nice customization for those sort of things. You could be the colors you wanted, you could kind of have some hair, you could have not hair, and it made me really happy. So, played Starbound, completely crushed it within a few days of just doing everything, and I was like, right, it's time. No more single player. I need to roleplay this. Went on, looking, going through some forums, trying to see. Antares. Well, no. Not Antares yet. Antares is a little bit later on the timeline. Let's just call it the Outpost. So, I joined this forum, this RP, and it's called the Outpost. It's completely new, very, very, very early stages. They just built each other. Starbound RP is starting to blow up, so people want to get on in that shit. The Outpost. Join it. I want to create a character. I'm like, I see humans all the time. Everybody's a human. I don't like humans. Avians are cute, but I need something a little bit more natural to me. I'm not really sure how to play a bird person. Hylodal, I like the Japanese design and culture, but I'm not the mega weeb yet, so no, not yet. Nova Kids. Actually, I don't think Nova Kids released yet. Glitch. Meh. They're too bulky. No. I can like them. So, humans, avian, Hylodal, Glitch. I'll get to the Apex in a second, but I feel like there's one more that I'm missing. Oh, right, Florin! I love the Florin. They're just a flower race of people, and from what lore they had, they would just consume different types of technology, subsume it into themselves, and then just turn other people's technologies into theirs. And I thought that was awesome. I thought that was amazing. I love that shit. So, what did I choose? I made an Apex. Why? Because I had a fun thing with it. So, I had an Apex, and she was basically from the Mininog. A noble family in the Mininog who was always under constant surveillance, and the family realized, oh wait, we have a bastard child now. So, rather than let their family lose face for having a bastard child or anything like that, they decided to just send her off. Send her off deep into the stars. And, that was my character. My character was found by a Florin. And this Florin raised her up. So, my character had a deep-bound affinity towards Florin. And she always wanted to see the stars. Same things that she saw streaking through the sky until her little pod crashed. They kinda really reminded myself of me wanting to escape beyond the confines of what was comfortable. Yeah. And this character, I decided to name Dara. Dara Calumbra. Or Dara Constantine, but, Constantine's kinda hid to the side. And, through some tragic events, Florin Village wiped out. She's taken away. She's brought to, this market. She manages to escape. She frees herself, and now she's out in the world. That was my character. I set it up so that she may have some goals. Set it up so that she has a mystery to solve. I set it up so that she has some characters that may still be a part of her story, or may have helped shape her. And I left it as open as I could for whatever would happen. That's the way that I like to write things. And, so. She goes to the outpost. Now we're on the multiplayer side of things. No more backstory. And she meets all sorts of different people. Scumbags, amazing people, terrible people, all sorts of things. This RP server, for some reason, was really getting off. We had people that would scour different planets to find really good places for either settlements or outposts or things. People are building all over the place to make things look cool. And Dara established herself as headstrong, unflinching, unwavering, talk things out, make sure to get things done. But in what she really wanted to do, in her main goals in life, go to the stars, she couldn't do it. She had no piloting skills whatsoever. No matter what she learned, she just couldn't pilot it. She would just freak out. She couldn't get it right. She would be somewhat off. She would always crash the ship somehow. She just couldn't do it. That bugged her. That bugged her deeply. That the things that I wanted to do in life, I couldn't truly do. I was actually trash at it. I was never good at anything that I really wanted to do, because I could learn all the theory, I could practice it, I could try it. I never got good enough for anything. I practiced so many different things. I practiced art, practiced writing, practiced speaking, practiced math, practiced science, practiced everything. Just couldn't be good enough. I wanted to play a character that, even if this was true for them, they could still be able to move on past it and continue. That's really what our purpose was. A person that made connections with unlikely people who were often deeply troubled or perhaps possibly really terrible or really fucked up. A person who, despite everything, despite never being able to achieve her dream, she could still find something to be happy with. That's one of the things I aspired for. A lot of things happened, and this is one of the first instances where I learned one of my really strong personal skills. We had a player. Let's just call him Dirt Digger. They were playing a Florin, and most Florin players, they are extremely chaotic. They are very difficult to work with. Some players would play some intelligent Florins, which is good. But this specific player, they were just chaos inbound. They would always cause fights. They would always do awful things. They would always get in people's way. They would always like make people mad. It was different players, and like, okay. Dara has a connection with Florins. I have her, technically myself. Go speak to this Dirt Digger. We talk in different ways. We talk like Florins. We go and make connections like a Florin does. I talk to them all about all sorts of things. My life, Dara's life, things we've gone through. And I can tell behind all the Florin talk and the Florinness of things, the person was there as well. From all that, I eventually brought them to reconcile with everyone. They are no longer in danger of being banned, being kicked out, or anything like that. Because I could understand this character. I could understand this person behind it. I knew where it was coming from. And I helped him. That was probably one of the first times that I realized the skill that I had been developing. And, from there, the outpost eventually fell apart. Inexperienced staff, a lot of Starbound changes, all sorts of issues cropping up, people claiming stuff. We didn't have enough infrastructure for anything, and, they eventually closed down. So I moved on to another world. I carried Dara on over. We moved to Antares, which was a much bigger, much nicer, very cool RP. They had established settlements. Prosperity is one that I remember deeply because I would just sit in Prosperity, go somewhere, play a fucking instrument for hours. Because I wanted something to listen to, and I wanted people to listen to it as well. I wanted to give people something. And I think more specifically, I wanted them to listen to what I had. And Antares roleplay, while it was amazing, while it was great, it eventually closed its doors too. Thus, Starbound RP experience pretty much ended there. It's a bit of a long stretch, that one. But it made me realize that video games are an amazing platform for RP. Not just if they're text-based or anything, but just the ability to have some sort of visual indication about what was going on and what you're doing, more than just reading some text or some person's kind of weird typing or waiting for some really slow person. If you actually being able to see some things happen, play out a combat scenario, things like that, it was so exciting, and I loved it. And I was sad to see the Outpost go. I was sad to see Antares go. I still remember some of my closest friends there. There was a character named Marlik, who had a brother named Albaxin. There were Heloidal warriors who were tragically lost in an attack on their city. And Marlik's entire goal was to be able to find his brother. There was Lyra, the avian worshipper of Cluix, who realized eventually that her entire religion was built on lies. None of it made sense, it was all awful, but even then she couldn't just give it up, she had to find the truth. She escaped from her nest, left the temple, dropped her gear, and went off. Whereas Emil, who was a traveling mercenary who had lost nearly everything, even their arm, who, after a long encounter in a fight, found a bond with Dara that lasted for a very long time. I remember these guys clearly. I remember the impact that they had on me. Still don't want to give them up. So, Lara, Marlik, Emil, and our captain was Sir Bolton, but they were more of a sort of prop thing. I never spent much time with them because, yeah, we decided to form a little merry band of mercenaries that would go across the universe. Fortunately, we never really completed our journey. After Antares closed, we just lost contact. I never had much interaction with them again. So, time passes. I finally get to Discord, I guess. Is that time? I think it would be the time for Discord. I think so. Yeah, I think I finally made the jump to Discord. And boy oh boy was that strange to jump to Discord. I had been on Skype for a long time, and it was alright. I wish I could have more history of Skype, but Skype only keeps it in the actual files, and if you want to see it, you have to open up the text files and go back into your history, because you can't scroll back in Skype all the way. That made me very sad. Anyways, once Discord got just a tiny bit of popular, I was like, alright, I'm jumping ship. Bye, Skype! Yeet. Left behind everybody. Of the 2 people that I had contact with, I went over to Skype. Or not Skype. I went over to Discord. Had a good time. Joined so many different Discords. Global emotes took off. I'm like, wow, this is cool. And then everybody started abusing role-playing, so I'm like, wow, this is not cool. And then I had to block 500 people during the global emote days because so many people would try and set those fucking Discords on fire by mass pinging everyone, ping everywhere. And owners would just allow it because that meant they would get more people, and more people would leave that wouldn't be doing shit. And owners would keep it up because, hey, you can pay me and I'll let you ping everybody. That was their thing. If you pay me, I'll let you ping everybody. They made money. That's more of an aside, but that kind of talks about my mental state of the time of, I need to I need to burn a lot of this. Time, and time, and time, and time. I go and join a forum RP. Ellenland. This one had a vast history. Fucking seasons and seasons of stuff. It's an entire webpage forum. It's dedicated to a lot of things, and I'm like, what in the fuck am I looking at? There's so much text. How do I participate in this without dying? So, made a character. This time, Dara Shienna. I'm still holding on to Dara. I've held on for Dara for a really long time. Dara Shienna. This time, a Eastern Island-raised ninja who was raised with their brother of the arts of the ninja and are off on a quest to collect multiple scrolls that have been lost to time so that they could learn more techniques since they had learned what they could at their current island temple whatever. I got one post in. I started one topic. I made a couple replies. Then I realized, wow, for MRP, you gotta write at minimum 4 paragraphs. Meaty paragraphs, not quick paragraphs. As well as wait about 48 hours for the next reply. We had 3 people in that one thing, and it took forever, and I was like, I can't get invested in this. This takes too long. There's no way that I can be interested in keeping up the storyline if it's just gonna... Well, I'll continue it, 3 days later. Okay, I just read that. Wow. 2 seconds in time have passed in RP time. 3 days have passed in real life time. No. I couldn't... I didn't want to deal with that shit. So, I eventually had to scrap that as well. So, my super intricate ninja of... all she has, no super strength, no super speed, is her ability to know how to fucking torque her body and hit hard. That was it. She had gauntlets that had steel balls on them that would be used to, like, deflect things and knock things aside so that she could have a little bit more oomph in her slaps. That's it. That's all she had. I spent so much time detailing her out, making sure she worked, making sure that she was generally gonna be weak as fuck in this entire history of this land, and I never got to fully use her. I never really got to fully talk about how she liked to sleep in trees, or how she liked to enjoy herself, and things like that. Alright. Just a little bit more. Let's see. Is it that one, or is it the other one? I think it was that one. Black Rose Academy. So, this is Discord RP. We're back to text finally. This one was extremely casual. Very low barrier to entry, and a lot of youth. Mostly, the owner was the youth. So they had low management skills, they had low typing skills, they made really quick things, and it was... It's alright. There are several other talented people there, though, that would get super into it, make some really nice characters, really nice posts. They really enjoyed it. It was a Magic Academy RP, as generic as that was. During the time, I enjoyed it. I played another Dara. This was Dara Vorkst. So this time her setup was that I made an entire character sheet, nice typesetted, printed out, but there was a little hidden thing on it where if you could get the code or do the thing, you would find a second character sheet that would reveal, oh hey, the picture that she had, that the hair wasn't just looking a little bit off or too big. It was literally a hair cap that she could pull off at any moment. She was a fucking spy. And more than that, she was dangerous, deadly. People would be afraid of her. It's like, a lot of how I am, where on the outside I can seem like the friendliest and nicest and most accepting and outgoing person, but everybody seems to be afraid of something inside of me. I might be something more than they could ever understand or handle or deal with. So, that was that character. Black Rose Academy. On we go to basically the next iteration after Black Rose Academy. Black Rose Academy revived because the server fucking imploded, which is when you get a bunch of youth who constantly make mistakes and constantly make bad decisions and constantly contradict themselves in their own decisions. You're gonna get a revolt. So we had a giant-ass revolt that eventually I just had to fucking put my hand down and say, hey, you guys stop that. It's over now. I don't care how much you feel about this or how annoyed you are at them. I'm not going to allow you to continue to fucking bully this person. Just leave it be. You've had your say. You're done. That was that. I've done that so many times in my life. I couldn't know where it came from. I knew where all the sides felt. Still did it. Because I couldn't stand by and just let it happen. Because these people, they paid for a Discord raid. I don't know if you've ever been in a Discord raid before, but they paid for that shit, and they called their friends for it as well. That's how fucked up that situation was. Discord raids at the time were not great. Looks like some of the people that I want to be here are off doing their own thing, which is fine. It happens. I wonder, have I missed things? Well, I've missed a lot of things. Well, 3 messages, but hello. My chatty isn't working properly. Give me a sec. I was wondering why I wasn't getting my usual things. Hello. Why is this not working properly? God damn it. Okay, there we go. I'm not getting the audio that I usually do, though, so that's also strange. It's just been a chat. That one. And do this one. Here, this one. Notifications. Chat messages. Now notification settings. Go to this line, yes. So you should do that. Hello Ray, hello Fox, hello Lara. Ba, ba, ba. And I'm not getting sound from that, which is fine, I suppose. Alright. So, from Black Rose Academy to Black Rose Academy Revived. Wow. They brought it back, and they brought me specifically back, the owner, because the owner liked me, I guess, because I stood up for them. So they started to try to do it again, and then keep in mind, in between Black Rose Academy and Black Rose Academy of Revived, they did a My Hero Academia RP for Discord that actually got very popular, and of course, died in the same fucking dumpster fire. I only saw that one from the sidelines. I wasn't there entirely for that one, because I didn't really want to RP My Hero Academia. Alright. So, Black Rose Academy Revived. I wouldn't pull a Dara Vorst again. Actually, I was kind of, like, tired of Dara, because I a lot of characters up to this point were Dara. There are more characters in between, there's a lot more things in between Daras, but I just went back to Dara a lot, because I like the name Dara. So, what happened? Dahlia Noctur. This was another evolution of the name Dahlia, from Dara to Dahlia. And Dahlia was a substitute teacher at a magic academy that had no magic skills whatsoever. They had no innate talent for magic, they had no ability to do magic. None whatsoever. They're just a teacher at the academy. And their main job was teach the introductory courses. Get people involved, get them in, let them know. So, what did she have if she couldn't do magic at a magic academy? Well, on the weekends she was a maid. Okay. She served at a royal family. She got a decent education, she can speak well. Okay. You're like, but what if you need to fight? What do you need to do anything else? And, at this time, for a very, very long time now, I just couldn't stand doing fights. Fights were never, ever my thing. I never enjoyed them. They were never part of something that I liked to take part in. And, it's like, okay, what can I do that's interesting, that's not gonna be stupid, that it's not gonna be, you know, I can murder the world because I'm a teacher. No, don't need that. Right. Under her uniform, I basically made her wrap a whip around herself. And I made a very, very specific stipulation. Of course, you know, a whip is very abrasive, very rough. Whips aren't really smooth, usually. If she ever needed to pull it out quickly, she would leave marks around her entire body from the whiplash, and it rubbing against her skin. And I did this specifically because I wanted it to kind of show if she was ever in a situation where that she had to pull that whip out quickly to protect somebody, then she didn't do her job right. She didn't do her job right. I like those chorus setups, where things can happen with a consequence. A lot of times I put these consequences on myself, and make myself go through them. Do that a lot. Because I feel like that's the best way that I can atone. And make it right, I can make myself suffer. My own mistakes. Black Rose Academy, revived, died even faster. Nobody was super interested in it. Of course, I had the only person who actually did an actual lesson of fucking magic, or anything. Everybody else had like a, hey, go slap this wall. Wow, nice, you totally learned, physical education. You are now 75 points stronger. God. No. I didn't like that. I taught an actual lesson about magic, researched every single magic system I could think of, pieced together all the little bits that I could find, made a reason for them to all be able to coexist. Those became my magic notes. Those kind of became the basis for what I believe about the versatility of being able to imbue a will on the world and make it happen. There had to be a reason for it. It had to be convincing. Yeah. Time passed after Black Rose died. Characters here and there, I did some random stuff, sort of things. Started writing, I suppose. I'd been writing before, I'd written a few things here and there. That I started writing. I started writing Teletzia. I was writing the story for my character in Dragonist. Because it was a game that I had loved for many, many years, and I wanted to be able to tell a story, the world of Dragonist, that would be my story. That I could have that impact on it. The same way that I could tell my story through Starbound, I want to be able to tell a story in the world of Dragonist, because I loved it. It was my place. So I wrote the first draft of Teletzia. Like, dang, that's not bad. I got some brutal shit, I got some emotional shit. It's not bad. I had the trials. I had the, my arm is now fucked type stuff. So, generally the same beats. And I was like, wait a minute. If I'm gonna make stuff for Dragonist, what if I tried to make a fucking animation? I started storyboarding animation, because I wanted to imagine her entire storyline. Starts off headstrong, super capable, but secretly is working really hard to be able to get to where they are. They try really, really hard. They get knocked down. They lose everything. Everything that they had ever felt like they were working towards or had turned out to be worthless. It didn't matter to them at the end. And especially, the people that they thought cared about them didn't at all. So, they go on a journey. They are angry. They are frustrated. They want to tear the world apart. Instead, they find a world that was in need of saving. That there are all these people that needed something. They needed help. They needed someone to be there. They needed a hero. And so this character, after they manage to heal themselves up, all they want to do is help. They want to be that person. They get addicted to the feeling of being helpful, getting that thank you, feeling like they did good. They're addicted to it. That's all they want to do. They want to be the best. They go crazy with it. They do it super intensely, to do it all the time, every single moment. They befriend a golden dragon. The golden dragon works with them. This dragon is the embodiment of justice, the pure good. They are the knight in shining armor that everyone had ever wanted. They were a hero. My character wanted to be that. My character led the golden dragon to his death. In his dying words, Golden Dragon just told my character to continue carrying on, doing what was right for the world. The character didn't care about their body anymore. Didn't care about their mental state. Didn't care about who they were. Didn't care about any of their connections. All they had to do was accomplish the goal that was given to them. Royal Court would send them on death mission, suicide mission, every sort of mission. Exterminate this, capture that, bend that, destroy him. My character didn't care. They were dead inside. Their eyes were lifeless. All they had to do was accomplish their goal. And it didn't matter what body part, what injury, what anything, what mental strain, who was in their way. They would destroy it all. Till the point where it just became too tiring to even keep up with that. Where their rage had subsided long time ago. Their sense of duty had completely evaporated. Their ability to even do anything and have control of their life was gone. So, what did she decide to do? Well, she decided to do nothing. Was that supposed to be her destiny? To fight for all this time just to end up living a life of nothing. Something that she was always afraid of. That everything that she ever did would amount to nothing. That after everything, the world would still fall into ruin. That after everything, there would be nobody who would care for her by her side. That's what it seemed like for a long time. Until she received a letter. Summons to return home. To the land of Anu Arundel. Where she was one of the ones selected to possibly become the next queen of the elves. To raise up above the ranks. To lead her people. The elves have a concept called Teletzia. Teletzia is basically one's purpose in life, one's destiny. May you find your destiny. Pala Teletzia. The character never believed in that. Always thought it was garbage, hoo-hockey. So, she went home. Maybe she could find purpose in this. Through her trials, she met Triana. She reunited with Flair. Sorts of elves from her past. Every single one, she just saw faces of people that she once knew. Bison. People. And during these trials, we witnessed Triana nearly fall. Felt nearly powerless to stop it. But rather than do nothing like she originally decided would be her destiny, managed to step back up once again, same time that she did in her past to Flair, end up saving them all. In the process, the queen was killed. Current queen was gone. She was no longer alive. Anu Arundel, the giant forest, was eventually going to wither away and die unless they had a new queen that could be able to take over its life force. The character was moments away from accepting it as her fate. This would be her Teletzia. This would be her purpose. If she did this, she would have a lasting impact on the world. That her people would be able to continue. Moments before she even managed to take the throne, Evenseal came in and took it himself, and became the new queen. Taking away from my character what she thought was supposed to be her fate. Taking away from my character what everyone in the entire world had ever told her that she was going to be. All just for the reason that Evenseal didn't want another person that looked like her to go through the fate of being a prisoner to that tree. When you become the queen of the elves, you are unable to leave your throne. You are rooted to it, you become one with the tree. You will no longer see the outside world. Did he save her from a bad fate? Or did he take away what she was meant to be? A lot of people say that Telestia destiny, it's not something that's known till you're finally near the end. Even if you find it, you might not know what it is until later. Character. He's woken up. She's completely confused. She doesn't know what just happened. She had finally decided to have a purpose in life. She steeled herself. She was ready for it. Would she have regretted it later on? If she finally did it? Who knows? But she was ready. She woke herself up. She stopped herself from doing nothing. She was inches away. Now she doesn't have anything again. Everything that she had was taken away from her. She was just returned out to the world like nothing happened. What would her goal be? Character was awake now. They had nothing this time. And instead of falling into despair, finally picks up another letter from a long time ago. Stupid idiot called Crag. Stupid monster who decided to take a really good liking to her. And all sorts of her weird accomplishments, and this was a character that didn't really mind. Crag didn't care what she was, if she was an elf or if she was strong or not. Crag just wanted to get to know her. Maybe duel her, maybe fight her. Crag didn't mean anything else by it. Crag just wanted to know who the person was. And while he started many fights, got into a lot of shit, she would be there to answer his call. Fought him, fought his brothers, fought his father. Got respected by the Crag family. And she was reminded once again of a person long from the past. Eluna. A heir to the Dark Elves, who had escaped so that she could experience the human world. Character finally got to meet this girl again, that she had known so long ago early in her journey, that brought light and hide and seek, fun magazines and surprises. My character learns of the truth about what happened. Because Teluna saw elves and humans as also equals, thanks to what my character did. Truly decided to try her best to become the queen of the Dark Elves and to end the conflict between them. Even though Taluna had killed many elves, even though my character had killed many dark elves, even though humans have killed scores of everyone. Because of my character in Taluna, they wanted to make peace. So, Taluna had gone, waged an entire uprising against the current Dark Elf population. All in the name of trying to make things right. That there would be no longer any bloodshed. And her side managed to win through. My character didn't quite understand how all this came to be, just from them hanging out and doing stupid things and reading magazines, talking about clothes. King Feather comes in. He had conquered countries beforehand. He was now here to lay waste to all of Legandia, to finally take on the goddess's mantle, become the new ruler, and reshape the world. One that he found such injustice in, and such pain, and such suffering, and such sorrow, that he had to end it and remake it, so that people couldn't suffer anymore. My character, people that she gathered along her way, the people by her side. Nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted everything to end. So, gathered up arms, they collected everything they had, they united against this mighty threat who had taken the red dragon's luster and was about to become one of the strongest dragons of all of existence. Together, they all climbed the mountain, entered into his nest, defeated his subordinates, slowly, each step of the way, losing bits and pieces of who they were, what they were fighting for. They were spearheading through the entire armament, till they finally reached him. All that remained were the ones just closest to her. Tired, battered, Cruton, but not beaten yet. And nearly all of them fell. It took not that long as the mighty dragon swooped down and attacked them all. Many of them tried their best to fight against it. Whole armies of magic tried to fire against it. This one was a calamity. Greater than things beforehand. But whether through sheer luck, dumb determination, or just barely making it time, they did manage to bring down the dragon, to knock it away from him. But he still had the power. He was still an untouchable person. While he may have not been in his dragon form anymore, he was still imbued with the power of the red dragon luster. While everyone else was down, he got up in a few moments, raising his sword. Character, for the first time, finally found something. Picked herself up. Every excruciating step. Raised her arm. And every single last bit that she had in her, she could feel something in her fists gathering. Something that maybe she didn't have access before. Didn't recognize. But it was aiding her. For the first time. His blade was only a few inches away from her throat, where a white light shone, and a clang is heard. The attack was deflected by the ghost of a former friend that she once held dear to her heart. Dragons were not yet defeated. They appeared to have chosen her to protect the world in their stead. Of that little moment that she had to call the wind spirits in her hands, just everything that she had to just blast into Pether, throwing him all the way across the arena, through the ground. He lay, finally, for the first time in his entire life, utterly defeated. She collapses there. Days pass. She awakens. She didn't think she would actually survive. Room seems normal. Her weapons are all broken. Ruins lay everywhere. And her arm, completely shattered, with no chance of recovery. She's no longer able to fight. Ah. Damn. I never got to actually tell anybody that story before. It's it's kind of crazy. It's just another one of those things that I really enjoyed. Just the idea that, hey, maybe that could be me. That was the first time in any of my stories that I had ever used like a power of friendship type thing. That was how I specifically wanted it for that story. Or there'd be only one thing that could ever invoke that. Everything else just had to be earned. She did eventually earn being able to use something like that. It's 4:36. And I haven't had anybody show up. I guess that's that history there. Here we are. Existing in this world where it seems like everyone will probably forget me. I really want to be able to make an impact, be remembered, have something at the end of everything. It seems like I just end up losing everything, no matter what I do. And everyone else always try to save others. They'll save themselves, they'll save others. That's because it's not as difficult with them. It's not as bad. Not people that are as rough or difficult to work with. It's not as off as people that are able to consistently make counter arguments. It's not as bad. Might not have the same sort of deep-setted stuff, but when they can hear it, when they can listen, it's a lot easier to deal with. Me, I'm extremely difficult. Nobody can go and save me for whatever I wish. Nobody gonna come and get me, swoop me away. Because I probably know better than anybody else that and those feelings, just like selfishness, lies, and deceit, nothing will be permanent or forever. But I still hold on to some hope that, hey, maybe something's gonna happen that'll change everything. Maybe I'll realize someday. Maybe I don't have to be alone in this insanity. Maybe I don't have to be me anymore. I can be a Justice, maybe I can be a Dara, maybe I can be someone that's not constantly hurting themselves to save others. Life I'm born with. I do everything I can to get a refund. Just feel like seems like I just have maybe too much strength to be saved. I'm gonna find a new destination. Sitting here doing nothing's getting little sad.